Well, hey there, I've got a couple of palpation sensory exercises to show you. And let's get straight into it. The first one is where you grab all 5 fingertips and you place them against each other, but then you lightly stroke down the fingertips. So I'm lightly stroking down the fingertips into the palm, and then I'm doing the same on the other side. Now just do that just to start with, but your objective is to try to understand which one feels more sensitive. So more sensitive might mean ticklish, it might mean tingling, warm. You may find that there's also a spot in here that wouldn't call it a dead spot, but you're not really aware of it. So I'm less aware of that than I am in here and there. And I feel it more with light pressure as opposed to firmer pressure. So I've indicated that these 2 fingers are more sensitive than those ones. I've got a sensitive spot across that area and through this part of my thumb. When I do the same sort of thing on the opposite side, I've definitely got that palm, but not so much through the metacarpals or even that phalanx area on those 2 digits, on those 2 digits there. So it's this left hand which is more sensitive than the right hand. So that's the first exercise, is to try to understand which of those feels more sensitive. Next we go to the clasping of knuckles. So if I clasp my fingers like so, you can see that's this finger which is on top of that one. So that's on top of this one at the metacarpophalangeal joint. My left one naturally goes over. If I switch that over, so the right hand is on top, it doesn't feel as good. And my 2 cats are having a fight, but we're all good. My right hand doesn't feel as good as my left hand being there. So both of those 2 tests are saying that my left hand feels more sensitive and more comfortable in that position over the top of the right hand. I'm starting to get this understanding that maybe my left hand really is the dominant one for feeling and sensing. So then we come to this last one, which is where we place the hands over the tissue, and this time we make contact with it. And this particular exercise may take seconds and it may take minutes of simply staying there in perfect silence. The idea is, can you feel motion, intrinsic motion or inherent motion, or inside motion? What that means is, can you feel anything moving under the skin? It might be pulsing, it may be moving left or right or up or down. And as I said, this could take seconds or minutes. The objective of the exercise is to try to dial this hand in, which is more sensitive than this one, dial it into a point where you are aware of things changing or moving inside a particular body part. During the LVMT course, we're going to do that on a leg or an abdomen or a lower back, and we're definitely going to do it on the sacrum, because that can move relative to respiration as well as cerebrospinal fluid or heart rate. And it's going to be an interesting way to detect motion happening inside the body. This one will detect it inside more of a soft tissue as opposed to the sacrum, which is more bony. But the entire objective is to say, can we be more sensitive to what we can sense happening in the body? If you can be more sensitive, then you can detect when something changes. And if you can detect when something changes, you can use that moment of change to then go back and do your musculoskeletal test, like a modified Thomas test, or a straight leg raise, or a lumbar lock thorax rotation test, or even a cervical rotation or flexion test, or some of the spinal palpation maneuvers. So to dial in your sensitivity and to figure out which hand is preferred, it's going to make us more accurate when we see if our manual therapies have actually made a difference. See you soon.